Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
So hi guys, how are you doing? Today I thought it might be a good idea to do my top 5 favourite musicals video. I've been wanting to do this video for a very long time, basically since 2010, because especially my top 3 haven't changed since 2010, so I've had the same top 3 musicals for 5 years. And I very much doubt they're going to change in the future because they're just firmly there and I really love my top 3. And my number 4 and 5 I love a lot as well, and they probably won't change either, so I feel like this is going to be a good video for me to do because I just don't think I'm going to change my mind about them. And I know that a lot of you probably already know my top 1 or 2 musicals, but you might not necessarily know my top 5 musicals, so let's start from number 5. My 5th favourite show of all time is Newsies. Now I saw Newsies the musical in New York on Broadway back in September of 2013 and I fell in love with it instantly. Like literally during the interval of that musical I wanted to go and see it again. Unfortunately I was only in New York for like a couple of days, so I didn't have time to go and see it again. I already had plans for the next day, so yeah, after that there was nothing I wanted to do more than see Newsies again, and unfortunately Newsies ended up closing a few months after I saw it, so I never did get the chance to see it again, but it's still touring around America I think, and I still have hopes that it will come to the UK someday. I feel like the West End deserves a show like that because it was just incredible. Like, it was insanely good. It blew my mind. I mean, it's Disney, and I hadn't actually seen the Disney film before I saw the musical. I still haven't seen it. In fact, I've seen scenes of it, but not the whole thing. But the musical itself just blew my mind from the start. So much dancing in it, so much amazing choreography. The story was so touching and heartbreaking. I cared about all the characters. There were loads of fit guys in it. Not that I care about that, but you know, there were fit guys who could dance very well. That makes me happy. And it was just, the songs were amazing. I loved all the songs. I still love the songs. I still listen to them sometimes. Carrying the Banner, Santa Fe. There's just so many great songs in it. The score is just amazing. The dancing though, for me, I think is the best thing about that show, and also just the story and the characters. It's just a really good show. So yeah, Newsies the musical is my number 5 favourite musical of all time. At number 4 is Phantom of the Opera. Now that might be a bit of a shock to you because I don't really mention Phantom of the Opera much on my channel, but that's because I feel like it's one of those musicals that you can't necessarily go and see all the time. For me, it's just a show that means a lot to me. I just love the score for Phantom so much. I think it's probably one of the best scores ever written, full stop. Not even just like Andrew Lloyd Webber's best score, but just one of the best scores in the world. Songs like Think of Me and Point of No Return and Masquerade. I mean, Masquerade as a scene I think is one of the best scenes ever in musical theatre history, so I just love Phantom. And of all my favourite musicals, I think Phantom's probably the most out of place one. Like, people probably just wouldn't expect me to put it in my top 5. But there's just something about it. Like I said, I think the music for me is the most powerful thing about it. I love it so much, and I love the story as well. It's very romantic, it's very cute, very sweet, and you know, people complain that it's like a bit outdated, you know, the direction and stuff, the sets are a bit old and whatnot, but it's fine. Like, I mean, the last time I saw Phantom was a few years ago, but I loved it. And I still think I'd love it whenever I see it, because I think the main thing for me is the music. And I mean, yeah, I mean, the cast are great as well. Depends on who you see, of course. My first ever Christine was Gina Beck. And she still remains my favourite Christine. I don't think I've ever seen any Christine who even comes close to her. She was just phenomenal. I saw her a couple of times, I think maybe 3 times in total, and she was phenomenal. And yeah, I've seen some great Phantoms, some great rows, but for me Christine is Gina Beck. Anyway, my number 3 favourite musical of all time is Avenue Q. Avenue Q is just a legend of a musical. It's one of those shows that, honestly, never fails to make me laugh. Doesn't matter who's in the cast, doesn't matter where I see it, whether it's on tour or in London, I laugh every single time I see the show, and I've seen it over 20 times now. It's just such a hilarious show, so clever, and again, the music for it, I think, is very underrated, but it's incredible. Fun fact for you, the score for Avenue Q actually ended up winning at the Tonys when it came out, and Avenue Q and Wicked came out in the same year, so it beat Wicked, which says a lot about it. Like, Avenue Q's score, according to Tony's people, was better than Wicked's score, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with, but it just shows how amazing the score is for Avenue Q. People just assume that because it's for puppets and stuff, it's just like they don't pay attention to the score, but the songs in Avenue Q are phenomenal, really good. Like Schadenfreude, it's just the way it's written is amazing. It Sucks to Be Me, everyone's a little bit racist. Obviously, like the Fine Line. There's just so many good songs in it. And again, for me, what I think I like the most about it, well, apart from the obvious fact that it's puppets, and no other show that I've seen, at least, has been like that, because it's not just puppets, like children's puppets, they do a lot of adulty stuff in it. First time I saw Avenue Q, I was in shock, like, I still remember how in the interval I was like, what the hell have I just witnessed? But I loved it. And I think I went back and saw it the day after or something, or literally like a couple of days after, because I really wanted to see it again. That's how much I loved it. It's just very addicting. It's a great show, like I said, very feel good. And I feel like it's because it's about real people. Like when I first saw Avenue Q, it was in 2010, early 2010. I was still at uni then, university, and I very much related to it. I recently went back and saw Avenue Q a couple of weeks ago with my friend on tour in Greenwich, and I got a bit emotional at the first song, What Could You Do with a BA in Music? BA in English, sorry about that. Yeah, the first song and the song I Wish I Could Go Back to College, for instance. I didn't care about them that much back when I was at uni myself, but now that I'm out of uni, I'm like, I do miss being at uni, and it's just very relatable. I feel like everyone can relate to the characters in the show, even though they're puppets. They're very real characters, and it's a very feel-good show, especially the last song, For Now, which I think is one of the best songs ever again in theatre. I think it just summarises everything I believe in, because it just says everything's for now, like, each time you smile, it'll only last a while, life may be scary, but it's only temporary. I love those lines, and I feel like they're very, very true. And, you know, people tend to worry, like the whole show basically, Avenue Q as a show is, you know, about this character, Princeton, learning about adult life and struggling through things and whatnot. But at the end of the show, they sing For Now, and it just kind of shows that really, you know, all the worries that you have and stuff shouldn't really mean that much, because, you know, it's all temporary. Just smile and go through life, and don't stress out too much about things that you don't need to. And for that reason, I love it. I feel like it's a very heartfelt show. Alright, so my number 2 favourite musical of all time, and that's a difficult one. Like, I really can't decide between number 1 and 2. But I'm going to have to say that number 2 is Billy Elliot. You guys all know how much I adore Billy Elliot. It's one of my favourite things in life. Not just favourite shows in life, it's just one of my favourite things in life. I love it. I first saw Billy Elliot in 2008, in July of 2008. I didn't want to see it. I mean, I did not want to see it, but I didn't necessarily want to see it either. I was just free with a friend. I wasn't living in London at the time. I was in London for a few days, and I wanted to go and see a show with my friend. And I wanted to go see Hairspray because I'd heard some great things about it, and the movie version of Hairspray had just come out with Zac Efron, so I knew it. I knew the musical. But my friend was like, why don't we go and see Billy Elliot? I've heard great things about it from my classmates and stuff. And I was like, oh, fine, let's just go and see that. Like, I wasn't too bothered. And I'm so glad I did, because I've always said it, but it's the first show that's ever made me cry, physically cry, in a theatre. And I think for that reason it will always be very special. I'm somebody who doesn't like crying in public at all, so even though I'm a very emotional person and I cry a lot at home when I'm on my own, I try and not cry in public. But Billy Elliot, when I was like 17, when I first saw it, made me cry, and I was so surprised. Like, I actually cried in a theatre in public, and I was like, what the hell is going on, Sam? That's not you. But since then I've cried so many more times at the show, and I mean, I think most people have seen Billy Elliot by now, but it's just such a special show. The story, for me, just... I care about it a lot. I care about the story. I feel like it's very real again. The characters are very real. I care about all the characters. One thing I really like about Billy Elliot is that it hasn't really got a villain, in my opinion. I think most musicals and shows these days, or just generally as a rule, they need to have some kind of villain for it to work, whereas Billy doesn't have one. Some people might say, oh, the dad is the villain, or the brother, Billy's brother, is a bit of a villain, but he's not. Every single character in Billy Elliot does some bad things maybe, and some good things, some things that you might get annoyed at and think, why are you doing this? But then at the end of the day, you realise that you understand their reasons for it. So because of that, they're very real characters, I think. So that's why I really like it. I mean, I could go on forever talking about Billy Elliot, and one day I will make a whole video about why I like Billy Elliot. They recently celebrated their 10th anniversary as well, which was great. I was there. But it's just a great show. I think with Billy, it's not necessarily the score that I love. Like, it's funny because you like different things about different musicals. I don't think this Billy Elliot's score is necessarily the best score I've ever heard. I do like it a lot, but it's not the best score I've heard. Like, Solidarity, I love. It's one of my favourite songs of all time. And the scene Solidarity, I think, is, again, one of the best scenes in any musical. But, yeah, the score, I agree, is not the most catchy score in the world. But it works. It works really well for Billy Elliot as a show and for the story of Billy Elliot. So I really like it. I think it's just amazing. And I love the fact that it's got so many happy moments in it, like laugh out loud moments in it. And so many sad moments in it. And the dancing, of course, is amazing, clever. The kids in it are always fantastic. yeah, I love Billy Elliot. Right, so my number 1 favourite musical of all time, I don't think I even need to say it, but I will because you already know, but it's Wicked the musical. Wicked the musical, just, I don't even know where to start. I first saw it in 2007, July of 2007, and I saw it because I'd heard such great things about it. I was living in Vienna at the time, in Austria. We were on holiday in London, and I pretty much forced my parents to take me. I was like, can we please go? And we all ended up really enjoying it. And I think, I mean, like nowadays, I think I probably prefer Billy Elliot the musical as a musical to Wicked, just a little bit, by a tiny bit. But I still have to put Wicked as number 1 because it's meant so much to me over the years, and it's changed my life in little ways. It was probably the start of my, I mean, I've always loved theatre, always, since I was a child. But it was the start of me kind of actively going to theatre, even on my own, regularly. Like, it gave me the confidence maybe to just kind of go out and branch out and just go and see loads of shows. And I've met so many people through Wicked, like some of them I'd call some of my really good friends, like some of my best friends even. And some of them are just people that I really enjoy talking to every now and again. And I don't know, it's just, I've met great performers as well through Wicked. It's just, again, it's one of those things, I don't need to even, I can go on about it forever. It's an amazing musical. The songs, obviously, I think is one of the best scores ever. The score for Wicked, Stephen Schwartz is phenomenal. I want to meet him one day just to be able to tell him thank you for writing such a brilliant score and ask him how he did it, because I just think he's amazing. And I just love the story between the female characters. I think it's great there's a musical that focuses on 2 strong leading female characters rather than like a guy character or something. It's just great. It's one of the few musicals like that in the world, I think, at the moment. And it's great. I think people need to write more musicals and shows and scripts for strong female roles. I think that's a very important thing, and Elphaba and Glinda are both very strong characters, and I really like that. So yeah, I'm going to try and keep this video short, so I'm going to stop talking about it, but that was my top 5 favourite musicals of all time. I've been talking for ages, I feel like, because my throat is hurting a bit, but I hope you enjoyed this video anyway. Leave comments down below, please, and let me know what your top 5 musicals are, and let me know if you've seen any of the musicals in my top 5, and if you agree with me. You know, I'd be interested to know, especially if you have like a favourite musical that you don't think I would have seen, because I have seen loads of musicals, quite a lot of musicals, but there might be some like rare ones, obscure ones that I haven't seen. So if you have a really good musical that you've seen that you really like and you don't think I would have seen it, maybe recommend it to me. I'd like to see it. I mean, I do have some other musicals I really like Love Story would have probably been my number 6, but obviously it's the top 5, so we're not gonna, I just wanted to give an honourable mention. But yeah, thank you so much for watching as always, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I shall see you next time. Bye!